Thanks for tuning in and welcome to the Post Route Show. And now, here's your host, W. Earl Kitchings.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Post Route, the show where we dive deep into conversations with Black quarterbacks, both past and present. I'm your host, W. Earl Kitchings. This show is proudly brought to you by Quarter Phi Back, the preeminent fraternity for Black quarterbacks and home of the prestigious BIP Memorial Trophy, the only national award that honors both the top Black quarterback from an HBCU and the top Black quarterback from high schools across the nation. And tonight, we will give you our finalist for the BIP Memorial Trophy, both for the HBCU ranks and for the high school ranks. As always, we are glad, excited, and thrilled to have you with us every Monday night here on the Post Route Show. So if you enjoy our content and you want to support what we're doing or you like what we're doing, a couple of easy things you can do. First and foremost, check us out on Instagram, Quarter_Phi_back at Instagram. That's where you can find a lot of information, visuals. Our social media director, Mr. C.D. Lazier, does a phenomenal job of bringing images and information. We've got things going on all the time, a watch list. We've got our quote of the week, our newsletter of the week. We try to cover it all. So check us out. That's Instagram. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an episode of the Post Route. Join us every Monday night here at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for more phenomenal conversations. And if you don't check out the show or you miss it and you need to find the show, go to YouTube. Tap us up at the Post Route on YouTube channel. Well, we are at that time of the year that it's almost like Christmas for us because we are preparing to get the names and start the process of voting on the finalist that we will provide for you tonight and see who will come out on top as the number one Black quarterback from the HBCU level and from the high school levels across the nation. So I don't want to hold us up any further, but first let me do this. Our guest tonight, young man, just an 8th grader, plays travel ball. We were expecting him to be with us tonight. Unfortunately, he had death in his family. So Quarter Phi Back, the Post Route, myself and my staff wish our deepest and sincere condolences of Legend White and his family. We pray that you will continue to be strengthened by God's mercy and grace. We are definitely sorry to hear about your loss, and we hope that you and your family will be covered in all the love and all the care that a family needs at this particular time. So our condolences go out to Legend White and his family. We look forward to rescheduling his time so he can come back and be a part of the Post Route Show and become a part of the brotherhood. So our sincere condolences again go out to him. But now let us do these things as we get ready for the close of a phenomenal 2025 season. It seems like every time we think we've seen it all, something else comes to the forefront and pleases us and excites us about what is going on in football at the middle school or high school or collegiate level. We're just always excited. So what we want to do is, first and foremost, we want to give you our players of the week. And we're going to start off with the high school level. because this is getting ready to be very interesting. Our high school guys. First, they are co-high school quarterbacks of the week. Our first guy, Taylor Lee Jr. from Pacifica High School in Oxnard, California. This young man has led his team to a 15-0 season record. I mean, think about it. You go the whole season and you haven't lost a game. Well, they're getting ready to face probably that final challenge of the year. Last week in his winning game over Granite Hills, Taylor went 21 for 35, 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns for 185 yards, but he helped the Tritons win the semifinal game in the CIF State Championship Division I. And guess what? He will now get a chance to face off with our co-high school quarterback of the week, none other than a guy who just seems like he just keeps popping his name up here at the post route, but Jelani Dipple and the Bengals of Central East out of Fresno, California. They will get it on this Friday to determine who will be the state champion in Division I. They entered the game with a 15-0 record. Central East coming into the game 13-1. When it's all said and done, someone will be crowned the champion. Currently, Taylor Lee is ranked 37th in the nation for high school quarterbacks. That's across the board by Max Prep. Co-high school quarterback of the week, Taylor Lee. The co-high school quarterback of the week, none other than Jelani Dipple, the junior from Central East High School out in Fresno. He went 10 for 26, 3 interceptions, 4 touchdowns, 202 yards, but he guided the team over Pittsburgh High as they defeated the Pirates 55-36. They had posted a 34-14 score in the first half and kind of cruised on in to this week's championship game against Pacifica. Ironic that both of these guys are on our co-quarterback of the week for high schools. Ironically, too, they are in our top 15 on our watch list. Dipple, the junior from Central East, is currently ranked number 8 in the nation by high school quarterbacks by Max Prep. So there you have it. These two guys are going to be getting it on. What an exciting game that's going to be. We're going to have to check in with somebody out there on the West Coast to find out, hey, how did the game go? I'm sure it's going to be streamed. I'm sure we'll be able to find some clips. I'm going to hope that my social media director will find some clips of that game so we can bring them to you to let you see how these two fine quarterbacks handle this big game. Moving on to our quarterback of the week for colleges, HBCUs. Wow, what an exciting game this was as the Panthers of Prairie View A&M. Congratulations to Coach Jackson and those Panthers for eking out a close game against defending SWAC champ, the Jackson State Tigers. It went down to the wire. But Prairie View is on their way to Atlanta to take on the Bulldogs of South Carolina State. Cameron Peters is our quarterback of the week in our final week of talking about who's the quarterback of the week. 17-28, no interceptions, 294 yards, passing 1 touchdown. He ran for another 100 yards that gave him 394 total offensive yards, and he scored a touchdown as they defeated Jackson State 23-21. 23-21. I mean, it can't get much closer than that. So the Panthers will take on the Dogs. There's going to be a dog and a cat fight in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Dome on Saturday, December the 13th, as we will decide who will be crowned the HBCU Champion of the Year at the 2025 Celebration Bowl. But kudos to Cameron Peters, the senior from Prairie View A&M University, for being our HBCU Quarterback of the Week. Congratulations, Cameron. Now, we got to go through our list, our national watch list. So again, we're going to bring the high schoolers up first so you can get a chance to see who these guys are. Starting at number 15, Janaeus Kamir Hall from Lima High School in Lima, Ohio, finishes the season with 3,533 yards, 33 touchdowns. At number 14, we just spoke about him, Taylor Lee, the junior from Pacifica, Oxnard, California. He is at 35.57 and 49 touchdowns. At number 13, Trey Taylor from Carmel High School in Mundelein, Illinois, at 35.71 and 38 touchdowns. At number 12, Cedric Allen, the senior from Hot Springs High School in Hot Springs, Arkansas, 35.81 with 45 touchdowns, keeps him at number 12. At number 11, Charles Scott Jr., the sophomore from Huguenot High School in Richmond, Virginia, 35.94 and 41 touchdowns. At number 10, Cameron Jenkins, the junior from Alvarado, Texas, Alvarado High School, 3,729 yards and 47 touchdowns. At number 9, Mike Mitchell out of Archbishop Reardon High School in San Francisco, California, through 13 games, 3,749 yards and 49 touchdowns. At number 8, Land Farmer from Shelby High in Shelby, North Carolina, finishes his season at 3,770 yards, 48 touchdowns, and, oh, by the way, state champs. At number 7, Peyton Houston, the junior from Evangel Christian Academy in Shreveport, Louisiana, finishes his year at 38-36 and 42 touchdowns. At number 6, Keyshawn Henderson, Legacy High School in Spring, Texas, 3,880 yards, 45 touchdowns. At number 5, the guy who stayed on our list almost the entire season, Deshaun Laporte, the junior from Burbank High School in Burbank, California, 3,900 yards and 54 touchdowns. At number 4, Dremael Carruthers from Owensboro Catholic High School in Owensboro, Kentucky, 4,022 yards and 49 touchdowns. I know he's just now getting on the scene to make it onto our list in this final week. At number 3, from Willis, Texas, from Willis High School, following in the footsteps of the outstanding quarterback who did everything a couple of years ago, and that was DJ Lagway, put Willis on the map. Well, now Lincoln Frazier, just a freshman, is keeping Willis High School on the map, 4,119 yards and 43 touchdowns. At number 2, that other guy in the fight for a state championship, Jelani Dipple, the junior from Central East out of Fresno, 4,298 yards, 56 touchdowns. But folks, you got to hear about our number 1 guy. We've seen him, but wasn't really sure because we couldn't quite figure out if he was in the high school or not. Come to find out, he is. You're not going to believe it. You're not going to really believe what you're about to hear and what we're about to announce. But at our number 1 position on our watch list, week 16, 14 games in, he lost in the state semifinals this past week, but through 14 games, this 8th grader, he's just in the 8th grade at Southside High School in Selma, Alabama. He is the rave of the nation this year because he is atop the Max Prep quarterback rankings with 5,350 yards, 60 touchdowns. Remember this name, Cole with a K, Moody. 8th grade, Southside High School, 53-50 and 60 touchdowns to finish out his 8th grade career season on the varsity, getting ready to come back for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. He's got 4 more years. So at Southside, probably one of those small independent schools where they take them in from 7th through 12th. And if you are good enough, which Cole Moody has shown you that he is, you make the football team. Oh, not only do you make the team, but you become the starting quarterback. Oh, not only do you become the starting quarterback, you start putting up numbers. And you go through the season, 1 loss in 14 games, 5,350 yards by an 8th grader and 60 touchdowns. Keep in mind, our winner at the high school level last year had 6,000 yards and about 62 touchdowns. That was Jordan Durham. Here's an 8th grader. Now, Jordan Durham was in the same situation when he was at Zarephath Academy a few years ago because he was an 8th grader on the varsity team. Well, Cole Moody, you are the man. 50 yards, 60 touchdowns. You're just in the 8th grade. Oh my goodness. What is left for you to do? Win a couple of state championships and just keep adding on to your numbers. But that is our watch list for week 16 and the new number 1 on the list, just an 8th grader. I mean, you got to think about just how do you handle all of that pressure, and you're just in the 8th grade. Well, Cole Moody is proving it, and he seems like he's coming from a family where his dad and his mom are really pouring into him how to be a fine young man and definitely how to be a superb athlete. So again, Cole Moody at number 1, Jelani Dipple 2, Lincoln Frazier 3, Dramel Carruthers 4, Deshaun Laporte 5, Keyshawn Henderson 6, Peyton Houston 7, Land Farmer 8, Mike Mitchell 9, Cameron Jenkins 10, Charles Scott 11, Cedric Allen 12, Trey Taylor 13, Taylor Lee 14, and Janaeus Kamir Hall at 15. Those are the last of our watch list for high schoolers in 2025. What an awesome list of guys. Now, let's move on. We got to keep things rolling along to our final list of guys for the college ranks. So here we have this group. Now, when you can end your season early and still be one of the top 15 black quarterbacks from HBCUs on the list at quarter 5 back, you've done some work. So here is our final 15 on our national watch list for 2025. At number 15, Noah Bowden from Edward Waters University finished the season out at 2,008 yards, 13 touchdowns. Number 14, Brinley Vandiver from Miles College out of the SIAC, 2,031 yards and 10 touchdowns. At number 13 from the CIAA, Dalen Lee, the junior from Winston-Salem State, finishes at 2,046, 23 touchdowns. At number 12, Cameron Peters, he's got another game to go. But at this time, he's at 2,092 yards and 18 touchdowns. At number 11, Xavier Jackson, the freshman from Clark, Atlanta, 2,103 yards, 18 touchdowns. At number 10, Andrew Body, the redshirt junior from Alabama State, only participated in 8 games, but still put up numbers. 21-12 are his numbers and 24 touchdowns. At number 9, Jalen Tolbert from Alcorn State, 21-28, 15 touchdowns. At number 8, a young man who's coming off a phenomenal season, playing for those Rams of Albany State, 1 touchdown short of winning. They were winning that game in the first quarter last week over Newberry, and they could not hold on as they finished the season 12-2. I'm talking about Isaiah Knowles, a fine quarterback, 21-51, 18 touchdowns on the year. At number 6, a guy we're going to see this weekend up in Atlanta, the quarterback for those Bulldogs, William A. Atkins IV, the graduate student from South Carolina State out of the MEAC. 23-23 are his numbers, 17 touchdowns. At number 5, Rasan Matthews Jr., the redshirt freshman from Virginia State out of the CIAA, finished the year with 2,361 yards and 20 touchdowns. At number 4, Jameer Dismute from Allen University out of the SIAC. The junior finished the season at 2,486 yards and 21 touchdowns. At number 3, another SIAC quarterback, Miles Scott from Morehouse College, finished the year at 25-59, 18 touchdowns. At number 2, out of the SWAC, R.J. Johnson III, the junior from Florida A&M, finished his year at 2,597 yards and 18 touchdowns. And at the top of the list for the 3rd straight week, our frat brother from Johnson C. Smith, Kelvin Durham, the senior who led them to the CIAA championship and won it, and also took them to the first round of the Division II playoffs. He finishes out the season atop the list at 2,936 yards and 26 touchdowns. All in all, the SIAC ended the season with 6 quarterbacks on our list, followed by the SWAC with 5, CIAA with 3. So those are our 15 guys on our national watch list. Congratulations to all of you for a fine season and doing all you could to help your teams win this past year. For those of you who are returning, we're looking forward to you making our preseason watch list. For those of you who are moving on, may you continue to have success in your endeavors. I look forward to hearing about you getting your degrees and moving on with making serious contributions to your communities wherever you may end up going. So that takes care of our watch list for the college guys. But still, we have to tell you about the finalists for the 2025 BIP Memorial Trophy, the only national award that recognizes Black quarterbacks at the HBCU level and from high schools across the nation. We are the preeminent fraternity for Black quarterbacks. And at Quarter 5 Back, if you don't know, our mission is to preserve the legacies of Black quarterbacks since 1903, maybe a little further than that if we go all the way back to that first Black college football game between then Biddle, which is now Johnson C. Smith, and Livingstone. But we're trying to make sure that we cover Black quarterbacks from the past and the present, because as we continue to bring you information, documented history, facts, statistics about who these guys were, what they did, where they played, what impacts they had, not only on their teams, but in their conferences, for national championships, conference championships, statistics, everything. Their legacies will never be forgotten as long as there is Quarter 5 Back. So let's get to it. Here are your 10 finalists for this year's high schoolers for the BIP Memorial Trophy in 2025. Here we go. Because we have them in alphabetical order, We're going to go down one at a time. First guy we got up is Dramel Carruthers, the junior from Owensboro Catholic High out of Owensboro, Kentucky. Followed by Jelani Dipple, the junior from Central East High School in Fresno, California. The third guy on our list is Land Farmer, another junior from Shelby High School in Shelby, North Carolina. Congratulations, Land. The freshman on the list, Lincoln Frazier from Willis High School out of Willis, Texas. Fifth on the list, Keyshawn Henderson, a senior from Legacy High School in Spring, Texas. Sixth on our list is Peyton Houston, the junior from Evangel Christian Academy out of Shreveport, Louisiana. At the seventh spot, Cameron Jenkins, a junior from Alvarado High School in Alvarado, Texas. At number 8, Deshaun Laporte, the junior. It just seems like the whole list is made up of underclassmen except for a couple of guys. But Deshaun Laporte, the junior from Burbank High School in Burbank, California. Another California guy is Michael Mitchell, the junior, a senior from Archbishop Reardon High School in San Francisco, California. And to round out the top 10 finalists for the high school BIP Memorial Trophy is a guy who gets on the list right at the end. The 8th grader from Southside High School in Selma, Alabama, Cole Moody, the 8th grader, the 5,350 and 60. What a phenomenal year. What a phenomenal list. When you look at what these young men have accomplished, they are all 3,000 plus yards. All 3,000 plus yards. And all of them have thrown at least 43 touchdowns. That's the lowest amount, 60 being the highest. Congratulations to all these fine athletes. We're going to make sure that your high schools know that you are a finalist in the running to win the prestigious BIP Memorial Trophy for 2025. Kudos to all these young men. And now, let's move on to our list of HBCU quarterbacks who have made the top 10 list. This is our 4th year of doing the BIP Memorial Trophy. So here are your finalists, your 10 finalists for the 2025 BIP Memorial Trophy at the collegiate level. Starting off the list is William Atkins IV, the graduate student from South Carolina State out of the MEAC. Following him is Andrew Boddy, the redshirt junior from Alabama State out of the SWAC. Following Boddy is Jameer Dismukes, the junior from Allen University out of the SIAC. Coming in at number 4 on our list, Kelvin Durham, the senior from Johnson C. Smith of the CIAA. At number 5 on our list, Caleb Jackson, the junior from West Virginia State out of the Mountain East Conference. And of course, we know we're probably one of the few sports entities that can delve into those conferences that you don't hear anything about. Last year, it was Mr. Torrance Bardell from Langston out of the NAIA. This year, Caleb Jackson, along with Bryce Kuntz. So again, we will find you if you are out there. Those are the first 5. Here are the second 5. At number 6 on our list, R.J. Johnson III, the junior from Florida A&M, another SWAC contender. At number 7, out of the SIAC champs, moving on to round 3 of the NCAA Division II playoffs, leading the Golden Rams of Albany State, Isaiah Knowles, the senior. At number 8, Rasan Matthews Jr., the redshirt freshman from Virginia State University, CIAA contender. At number 9 is Miles Scott, the junior from Morehouse College out of the SIAC, and rounding out the top 10, Cameron Peters, the junior from Prairie View A&M out of the SWAC, and we will see what he and Mr. Atkins will do on Saturday because they still have some numbers to put up to add. But we will be getting these final contenders, both high school and HBCU, to our advisory council so that they can start going through the list and start preparing to make their votes. Then in January, we will bring you a special edition of the Post Route where we will announce the 2025 winners of the BIP Memorial Trophy. Once again, for those of you who don't know, the BIP Memorial Trophy honors the late Oliver Bip Joyce, the fallen quarterback from Florida A&M University, who in 1959, as a freshman, coming off the first ever Black high school state championship at Matthew W. Gilbert High School in Jacksonville, Florida, was at Florida A&M University, third string on the Rattlers team, playing for legendary coach Jake Gaither, in practice on Monday, getting ready for a game to be played in his hometown. You know how they move guys around. They move you on both sides. Well, he was playing defense in practice on a Monday. Went to tackle one of the premier running backs in the history of Florida A&M University, Robert China Doll Paramore. Unfortunately, as he tackled Paramore, Robert Paramore ran like Roger Craig, with the high knees, and he happened to hit Oliver Joyce around the head and neck area. And at that time, Oliver Joyce fell to the gridiron practice field, injured, neck injured, broken neck. They rushed him to the hospital. Fortunately, the hospital was located on Florida A&M University's campus because that was primarily the only hospital for Black people in Tallahassee, Florida at that time. He sustained paralysis from that injury from Monday. But here's the thing. When his coach went to visit him, he could still speak. And he was telling Coach Gaither that, Coach, I let the team down. I let the boys down. But, Coach, I'll be back. I'll be back, Coach. And I'm sure that touched Coach Gaither. Well, the Rattlers did play that game in Jacksonville, Florida that Saturday. I believe they won the game. But on that Sunday, Oliver Joyce left us. Being that he paid the ultimate price on the gridiron, an outstanding athlete, a young man who wanted to pursue the medical profession and become a doctor. The irony of this whole story is that he did not get a chance to wear the orange and green ever again. So we honor him by naming our award for him. As you can see, that's his picture back there. He wore number 44. That's why we have tribute to our number 44 in what we do here at Quarterfied Back in the Post Route, because Oliver Joyce was that guy. So when we tell you that guys are eligible for the BIP Memorial Trophy, the only national award that we bestow on the best HBCU black quarterback and the best black quarterback from high schools across the nation, it is because of Oliver Joyce that we honor him. So that is the story of how this goes. You've heard our watch list. You've heard our players of the week. You now know who the top 10 finalists for the BIP Memorial Trophy will be in 2025. So all we can do is tell you Continue to tune into the show because we will be getting back to you with the winners in 2026 when we make our announcement. But until then, that is going to do it for me tonight. We hope that you have a pleasant and enjoyable week. If you're in the cold weather, stay warm. And if you're hot weather, stay cool. But until we visit with you next week, I'm Earl Kitchings, the host of the Post Route, saying, as we always do as we close our show, go deep and go for the bomb. Take care, everybody. See you next week. Bye-bye.